Today I'm going to be showing you how you can easily edit a gaming short or TikTok for your own social media, and this is actually very straightforward to do in Final Cut Pro. I already have my clip that I will be using that I took from my stream, which was from Kick and Twitch, so if you want to check it out, you can. But this is what we're going to be doing today. Now first, let's actually get to the proper setting, which of course we're going to go to our project, and we're going to go to modify, which is going to be located on the top right. We're going to just make sure this is in vertical, because if you don't do this, it will basically just be a normal horizontal video, which of course that's not the goal. We want to have a vertical video that looks stunning. But we're going to do it at 1080p because why not? And of course, if you do prefer certain frames, you can obviously adjust a bit lower, but I already have a video in the timeline, so it's not going to really do much. But now we have it in vertical setting, which you can already see with the vertical canvas. So first what we're going to do is we're going to cut our standard horizontal clip into segments that we actually want to keep for this vertical video. So we can do this by just, going over some of the clips and, just making sure we have our favorite part. But I think we will be doing it from roughly, let's do it from here. So I'm just going to push B, which is our shortcut to get to the trim. And then let's trim from here. Then we can just use backspace to delete that. So now this is going to be roughly 20-second clip, but we're going to also edit this part because why not? And then that's going to be our full clip there so far. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hold down on Alt and we're going to drag up, and this will duplicate the clip, which also makes it a lot easier for editing because of course the goal is to have the gameplay in vertical format and also have a little window for our webcam. So first what we're going to do is we're going to click on our main basically video, and we're going to just scale this to basically fill up the whole screen, which should look like this, and sometimes it will lock just like that. Now that's going to be our main gameplay. Now we could actually do extra things. For example, we can duplicate another one, and then we can just, for example, this is obviously for those that wanting to have more detail in their clips. So we could actually grab this, we can expand it to full, we can move it here, and let's say I want to show my inventory for some games. I can actually just go to the right side to crop, which is right here, and I can just, just crop down top, go all the way to where it just meets around about there. You can do the same for the bottom, bring it up a little bit, because of course the clip is, not that, big. We can just do it up to there. We can do the left side, so meets also around about there, but of course it's not going to do it fully because we're not in the proper tool for it. So we can just obviously just go to crop, and we can just make it a little bit smaller there and do it also there, and we can basically just say done, and that's basically it. That is a little detail you can do, which I think for this example we can't just do it for now, and we're just going to put it right over here just so it does make it look neater, but of course it just adds extra work, but you don't have to. It just gives more of a more detail for your viewers to actually enjoy. But now going to the webcam. Now we can do this in so many ways. So for this we're actually going to just reset, make sure it's in the base canvas. We're going to expand this to a full screen, and you'll see what I'm going to be doing now. We're going to drag where the webcam is in the middle, and we're going to just make sure it snaps just like so. And I have done this before on the channel where I talked about how you can actually do this. You're going to go to where your text will be, go to your generators, and look for elements. And you will see shapes pop up straight away. Now what we're going to do is we're going to drag this on top, put it at the beginning of our clip. We're going to basically drag it all the way to our full clip. Now before we actually do anything, do we want to have where our camera basically zooms in, whether it's like a little action part or not? And I'll definitely say for this, we are just going to keep it the way it is now because there's no action or no talking points. But let's say I was talking during my gameplay video or anything like that, and I want to just have the camera zoom in. You can do that. It's not too hard to do. Let's say it's, right over here. I can just use this as an example, and then we can just, delete this, and then it should be done like that. So, we can just go here and, make it more zoomed in, and it would obviously be affected, but we're not going to do that for this video because, well, there's no need for it for this type of short. But we're going to do it like this, and what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we align the element just by our webcam. Now we can shrink it a little bit just so it fits in a bit more. So of course, the more you keep it, fitted in, the better. But so far it should be good. Now what we're going to do is going to go to this little tab here. We're going to go to our blend mode, which of course is going to be right on the top. We're going to go to stencil alpha, and this will give this little effect, which by the way, don't worry, you did not do anything wrong. This is just how it looks. Now we can just adjust it a little bit more to make sure it's in the center, and we can just say done. Now of course, the best way to actually get rid of the current look, you're going to highlight the webcam footage and the element together, right click, and say new compound clip. Now we can just name this webcam, and it's actually very straightforward to do. Once you push enter, it should look like this. Now of course, because if we say new compound clip, it is going to obviously say like this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it smaller. I'm going to move it to the corner right here, because I have noticed, and this is a bit of more of a creator tip, if you are someone that is starting with game content, I have noticed that people are enjoying content where it's more like this. So I would recommend to do something like this if you're wanting to do it. It just also looks a lot more better in terms of giving a nice clip that people can obviously see more of the gameplay, but they can still see your, your webcam. Now what we can actually do to make this pop out a bit more, especially when it comes to, using it as a game clip, we can go to our effects, we're going to go to stylize, we're going to scroll down to drop shadow. Now we're going to drag this and put this right on our webcam clip. And you can see it already. Now we're just going to make sure transform is off, but now we can adjust a bit of a drop shadow, which does give a nice little effect to your video, makes it look like it pops out a bit more. And we also can just, adjust it more, but I'm just going to leave it the way it is. But I can maybe do the opacity a bit more, but it actually looks pretty good. So now if we just do a standard play, it looks pretty nice. It looks pretty decent. But otherwise, we could say that is it, but obviously I want to advertise my streams somehow on different platforms. So I do actually have a little PNG I made using Canva, which is free to do so. And I am going to do it for the whole clip. Now, of course, having this just in the middle like that is a bit too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to shrink it a little bit more. And we're going to maybe just drag it above here by the webcam, because then it's a bit more visible for some users. Then we can just leave it there, and we can just click off, and that looks pretty decent. Now of course, if I want to make it to not pop out too much, we can obviously click it and we can just do the opacity a little bit less. But I think for this, we're going to just leave it at full opacity. And just like that, we have a gaming clip that we can post to YouTube Shorts, to TikTok, and this can actually do pretty well. And I will say, doing these type of edits are fun to do, but obviously it does take time, so don't rush it, just enjoy it. Because of course, the more you actually put into your editing, the more you actually will get rewarded. And this has been proven well for YouTube a lot recently. But also in the comments below if you want any more tutorials of when it comes to video editing, whether it's for gameplay, for my standard videos here on the channel, or any more types of editing, or even photo editing, let me know in the comments below. But I'll catch you guys next one. Be safe as always, and have a great day. Bye.